How to personalise a robe using Cricut. Hey guys, it's Rebecca from Bride Society, and today I'm walking you through how to customise or personalise your robe or your dressing gown for your event. Obviously my tutorial can be really easily adapted to say whatever you want, and I'll walk you through each of the stages from design to cut to application. So here's what you'll need. Today I'm going to show you how to create this design for your robe. Obviously all the text is really easily adaptable to whatever you might need for your wedding or event. If you're looking just for a particular step, there are timestamps in the description box below, so you can just skip ahead if you're just, for instance, looking for the cutting stage or the iron-on stage. But first of all, I'll show you how to create this design. So you'll need a blank canvas. I'm just going to work over here for now. If you don't have one, either on the home screen there'll be a new project button up here, or if you've already got something open you can just hit new at the top left here. Okay, then the first step is to come to where it says text on the left hand side and hit that. Okay. As you can see, it'll drop in the text box. You just type in the text as you desire, and then a second text box for the established date, if that's what you're doing. Maybe you're doing the wedding date, maybe you're doing wedding coordinates, something like that. Or maybe you're writing out sort of their full name, writing Mrs. Smith or whatever, you know, the new married name, bride, bride, bridesmaid. Obviously so many options here. I'm just going with initials and established. So I feel like that'd be a nice kind of classy option. So to change my fonts to make them look like this, just select the text box that you want to change and come up to the top left where it says font. Hit the drop down, and then it will open this screen here. It will start by showing you everything that Cricut has, but these will only be available to you if you subscribe to Cricut Access, or you choose to pay individually for the font. I don't currently subscribe to it, so I'm going to flick across to the top here where it says system. So now it's just filtering by the fonts that are already in your computer system. So I'm using a font called Always Forever, I believe. Let's hit that and then click out. Yeah, as you see, it's super tiny, but it's there. Obviously, measure the space that you are wanting to work on your robe. I'm going to put mine on like the left cuff, just on the edge. So I decided I wanted mine to be this kind of size. So this is the whole project, but it's about 3.35 inches. So if I come up to the top here where it says size, you've got the width, height, and a padlock there that allows you to change the ratio of width to height. If you keep it locked, it will maintain those ratios, so you can just type in one side and it will change both. The other approach you can take is just simply to grab any of these squares with your cursor and just click and resize like so. Okay, and just exactly the same steps for this here. Mine's already actually in the font I want because I obviously already did it over here. Your default font is usually Cricut Sans, but as you can change it by just typing in whatever you want. This is the font that I was using. You've selected it, click out, and it'll be in that font. Again, I'm just going to resize to something that I feel looks nice in relation, and I quite like this positioning it just sort of underneath this letter. Obviously your letters may be different and that might not work for you. So that's all nicely done together. The next thing I have done, so that when you go to cut it, that it all maintains its spacing. So it doesn't matter if it cuts out one text box, two text boxes, but I think just for ease and because my design is quite compact, I'm just going to have it cut it as one design so that the spacing is maintained just automatically and I don't have to cut it and reposition it and faff around at the end. So if you want to do that as well, you just need to click, drag, so it captures both of your text boxes, and then come down here to the bottom right hand corner and you'll see it says attach with a little paperclip symbol. Go ahead and click that. So now when we go on to the next screen, these ratios are being maintained. If you don't care about that, or you're cutting out different coloured vinyls or whatever, don't do that step. We'll just skip straight ahead. So I'm just going to remove that design and do this one. So you are now ready to hit make it in the top right hand corner. Okay. As you can see, it's positioned your design onto the mat, and as we just discussed, it has attached it. So this text here is sitting exactly where we placed it underneath here. If you didn't do that, it's probably up here near the top somewhere. So it needs to sit within this red line on your mat. I like to give it just a touch more space, just to be prudent. And the other thing you need to do, because we are using iron-on vinyl, you need to come over here to where it says mirror on the left-hand side and flick that on. That is very, very important. And if you forget, you will have your design backwards and waste your vinyl and have to start again, and it's all very annoying and it's very easily done. So mirror on. So as you can see, that's flipped my design over. And then you just come down here to where it says continue in the bottom right. So make sure your machine is switched on and connected to your device. Then we are going to select your base material. So that is what we're going to cut with the machine. In my case, that is everyday iron-on, which I've already got bookmarked here. If yours isn't in this list, don't panic. Just hit that browse all materials up here at the top, and then you can just scroll through or you can search for what yours is called. But yeah, I'm using everyday iron-on in white, but the color is irrelevant. So the next thing you need to do is load your fine point blade into clamp B and prep your vinyl onto your mat. So we're going to load our blade into clamp B, so you just open it up, grab your blade, so it's the fine point one, so it's the one with the almost barely there point. Okay, and then we just pop it in the top here, close the clamp like so, and it just locks it into place. Grab your standard grip mat, your pre-cut vinyl. You've got two sides here. One is sort of a shiny side, if you see that, and one is a more matte side. You want to place the shiny side face down onto the mat because you're not cutting through the backing sheet. You want to cut through the vinyl itself. So go ahead and position that wherever you told it to cut. So it's probably in this top left-hand corner. Go ahead and load your mat into the machine under the little guides on either side with your 4-star wheels evenly spaced across the bar. Then you're just going to hit the flashing arrow button on top of your machine and that will feed your mat in. Once it's ready to go, the Cricut logo that's on the top will start flashing. All you need to do is press that down and it will cut your design. Once your cut's finished, you can unload the mat by again pressing the flashing arrow button and it will eject. Then grab your weeding tool and we're going to use this to remove all the negative space on our design. So that's basically everything you do not want to be ultimately transferred on to your robe. you're done, remove your backing sheet from the mat. And just double check you've definitely removed all the little bits and pieces from in between every letters. It's really easy to leave them in between O's and those little kind of twirly gaps there. Grab your EasyPress mat and your Cricut EasyPress. Now you can obviously use this Cricut EasyPress like I am, or it'll work equally as well with the like EasyPress Mini, something like that. I do always use an EasyPress though rather than an iron, just because I've never had success with an iron, but technically it can be done. So if you follow the instructions carefully on the vinyl packaging, that you should be okay, but as not for me. So here's how to use your EasyPress. Switch it on using this button here, making sure it's plugged in at the wall. It will remember whatever settings you had it on last. To change those settings, come to where it has the thermometer. So mine is set to centigrade, but of course you can change it to Fahrenheit, and those temperatures are on the screen. Okay, so wait till it flashes and then you can adjust accordingly. I want mine to be 155 degrees centigrade. The instructions for Fahrenheit are on the screen. And I do want it to be 30 seconds. If yours says something different and you need to adjust it, come over here to where the little stopwatch symbol is. Again, press and hold that till this flashes, and then use the plus and minus buttons and adjust accordingly. While it's heating up, the C Cricut logo will be in amber. Once it's ready, it will turn green and audibly beep. So my Cricut's ready to use. I should also say that these temperatures and timings vary depending on the material you're using and the base material that you're transferring onto. So the material I've got is the sort of cotton poly blend. So these are the settings for that, and I'm using everyday iron-on. If you're using something different, refer to the Cricut Heat Guide on their website. They've got a really useful tool on there, and the link for that is in the description box below. So now grab your robe. So I'm putting mine on the left arm cuff. Now, because I'm going to put it in the middle here, I'm actually slightly concerned that the seam on the back here will mean that I don't get a good even press with my Cricut. So you can, if your design's quite small, you could probably move it out the way and position it like this. Or, which I think I'm going to try and do, is put the edge of the mat inside. So it'll take just a bit of finagling, but just to get it nice and smooth. Grab your vinyl and just check your work area. I'm going to put it here. Okay. Then grab your protective sheet. I'm actually just using a baking sheet. It does a great job. It works in a very similar way to the more expensive protective sheet that you can buy. Just to put that between the EasyPress and your fabric, particularly delicate fabrics like this, just to stop it sort of burning or scorching or causing the material to pucker. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to cover it over and then preheat for 5 seconds. So this just makes the back of your vinyl tacky when you put it into place. So we're just going to place it on here for 5 seconds. Grab your vinyl and position as you want it. Smooth it on and recover with your protective sheet. This is where you now grab your EasyPress. Make sure you cover the design in its entirety and start it by pressing the C Cricut logo and pressing down. Once it's done, remove your Cricut and sheet, and then just leave it in place until it's cool to the touch. So now that my vinyl's cooled down, I'm going to carefully peel back the carrier sheet from the material. Just go slowly, and if it hasn't transferred for whatever reason, just replace the carrier sheet back down and add a little bit more time on with your EasyPress. And there have it. That came out really well. And also, just as a side note, I know I said I gave the heat instructions for a cotton poly blend, because actually the instructions on the Cricut heat guide on their website is quite reasonably limited for the base materials that it lists. This is actually a combination of polyester and modal. It's mostly modal, which I just wanted to mention because obviously I did follow the same heat guide instructions for the cotton poly blend, and it's worked really well. So just to let you know, if you have got something different, it is worth giving it a go, but obviously it's just not guaranteed to come out well. But yeah, I hope you liked that and found it helpful. If you've got any specific questions, do drop them in the comments box below, and I'll do my best to answer anything I can and give other tips. Or if you have any other video requests, let me know. But otherwise, I hope you liked the video. If you did, if you could hit like, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.